Hey,
Hey, how's it going?
I'm doing good, and I was gonna ask you the same question. How's it doing?
It's going good. It's a nice, solid, relaxing afternoon. And I'm happy this is finally happening.
Yeah,
Thanks for being patient with me.
sure, it's always a pleasure. And I was gonna
Yeah.
ask you the same thing.
Oh yeah, no, it's good. Thanks for having me on.
Sure, it's always a pleasure.
Yeah.
I've been wanting to interview you like I did with many others for months.
Right.
Hmm, yeah, because all I know is that I've been seeing you in a lot of recent video games and in animation.
Yeah, I know things have been picking up for me. It's cool. In the you're right. In the last couple of months, last few months, I've been able to be part of some cool stuff and things that are coming out in like the next few months, a year or so. But yeah, it's been awesome.
I
And yeah,
see.
seen a lot of other people that I saw you interview. I was like, man, he interviews everybody. Like he's got all these great people on there.
Well, that's very good to hear from you.
Yeah.
But anyway, I have many questions I wanted to
Okay.
ask you.
Got it.
Tell me, how's it like being a voice actor in many animated shows and video games?
Oh, I remember I've heard you ask this question to other people, and it's such a good question. It's honestly, how is it? It's a big question, but a good question. It's really, I think, gratifying is the biggest one, and I also feel, um, I don't know. It's gratifying to be part of so many amazing things. It's also just fun because I love working with people that I don't know or working with people that I know really well and have wanted to be working with before. And it's kind of a full circle for me because I've been a fan of the companies that I work for such a long time. And so being able to be part of projects that they create on the other side of being part of that creation process is really, it's amazing. I'm just really humbled by it. And it's really fun. It's just really fun to see it all come together. Yeah, I should have better words, but that just giving you what I feel. But yeah, just a lot of gratitude for how it feels. It's great. It's a great feeling.
I see. So this is what you like about it, which
Yeah.
leads me to the one most important question. How did you get into voice acting?
Yes. Oh, such a great question too. Well, I started in theater when I was a kid, and I wanted to do performing ever since I was little. I sort of had no choice. Our family, at least my family, has a bunch of people that, are part of theater, do things with theater or performance. And I have been imitating voices since I was a kid. I always loved sound. Whenever I was little, I always loved listening to music or, movie scores or things like that. But I always loved the voices that I heard around me too. I know that when I would watch cartoons, I would imitate as best as I could what I was hearing and seeing. I didn't necessarily get it exactly right, or I was even imitating voices before I could really talk. So just anything that I could reproduce using my voice, I would give it a shot. I don't really know where that came from. It was just a thing of fascination with sound. Um, and then fast forward to, I would say, end of high school. I watched an interview series with host James Lipton on a show called Inside the Actor Studio, and he interviewed the Simpsons cast. And when I watched those people that were in the cast, all the people that everybody knows now, when they were doing the voices for the audience, it was amazing on multiple levels. It was amazing because there were voices that I was so familiar with. It was amazing because they switched in and out so quickly. It was amazing because the acting was so good and the comedy was so good. And it was also where everything sort of came together because my love of theater and music and sound and doing voices since I was little, um, it all sort of it all made sense in that moment. I was like, "Oh, this is a job that I can do. I didn't know that before." And so I started to research that in college and started to take classes and meet some people and do auditions here and there. And I was really lucky while I was working at Disneyland to take a workshop with a guy named Brian Nefsky, who is the casting director for Walt Disney Imagineering. And he was the one to give me my very first professional job 10 years ago, back in 2012. Yeah, I think it was 2012. Yeah, 2011, 2012, when he gave me my first job doing voices for a thing called Agent P's World Showcase Adventure, which is like an interactive game at Epcot Center in Disney World, which I don't know if it's still there or not. I went recently and I don't know if they still have it, but it was this really cool. You went around Epcot and there were like animatronics and like clues you could find and things you could solve, and I did a bunch of voices for that. But that was the beginning for me was Disney. And So after that, I continued to take classes and I continued to work on my acting and work on voiceover, and then eventually I took a class from Bob Bergen, who introduced a casting director named Jason, came into the classroom and liked what I did and referred me to an agent, which is still my current agent, SBV. And so since 2016, I've been working professionally and steadily moving up and up since then. And now I'm here. So that's the like short-ish version of my story, but that's how it all happened.
I see.
Yeah.
So this is how you became a voice actor.
Yes.
It was because of you taking those classes.
Yeah. Yep. Taking
It,
classes and loving it and loving doing the work. Yeah.
I see. Because I gotta tell you the honest truth. I've been taking a lot of classes,
Yeah.
about how to become a voice actor. Because for me, I meet a lot of casting directors,
Yeah. Yeah.
and
Yeah.
they
Well,
see me as as a as a professional, when it comes to me reading scripts.
great. I mean, that's honestly how it happens. People hear you and they like what you do, and then they trust you enough to do projects. And yeah, so it sounds like you're on the right track.
Now that's good to hear.
Great.
But anyway, why do you like being in animated shows that much?
Why do I like it? Because I can be anything that I want. It's not limited to what I look like or even what I'm doing in the booth, and I like that freedom. Theater sort of allowed me that with the various types of roles that I could do and have done. Working on stage or performing at theme parks. But with voiceover, it's just so much more. There's so many more characters I can be, and I can be part of so many things I could never do just, on screen or on stage. And I also love it because there's so much of the playfulness that's involved. I feel very free when I'm doing voiceover, especially for animation or character work, because there's really no limit. It forces me to act well. It forces me to stay grounded in the choices that I'm making and stay consistent with what I'm doing and make bold choices, which is not something that a lot of professions have as part of their requirements, is to make a choice, go for it, and don't be scared about it. I mean, a lot of professions do have that, but this one especially, you just have to be ready to just let go completely, and that's scary. But it's a good kind of scary, and so because of that and because of what I see as a result and because of the way these characters can influence people and can change views, they can change lives, they can save people. It's amazing the power of animation. And so that's why I'm in it, is to create characters that resonate with people and can do something that's good in the world. Um, yeah. And also it's just really fun to try out new stuff. I love all the characters I get to play. So
I
yeah.
see. So this is why you like to play the characters.
Yeah.
It's because you have the experience of that for years.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now I'm beginning to get the picture. Which, speaking of roles that you say, I
Yeah.
have many questions about your characters.
Okay.
But in in the show called Voltron Legendary Defender,
Yes.
what was your favorite thing about playing the character Adam?
My favorite thing was that it was an unexpected role. And it was really an amazing I unexpected in that I didn't know that I would get it, for one, but also unexpected in the impact that he had. I remember when I got the role, it was several months before I actually recorded that I actually was told it was I got it, and then I was told several months later that I was going to be doing it. But what I liked about it is the full story was not something I was really aware of, and the full impact of what the story means to people is not something I was aware of until after the fact. I just went in, I did my 2 sessions for it, for the episodes I was in, and that was pretty much it. And then I walked away. But then slowly I saw from, I have family that really likes the show, and people reached out to me after the episode with Adam premiered and how much he meant to them. And it's just that's probably my favorite part, is seeing what people got as a result of this character and me not knowing literally anything about it until I did it. I had never watched the show. I didn't know what Voltron was. Um, they just said you're gonna play Adam on this show called Voltron Legendary Defender, and I was like, oh, okay, that's cool. But since then, I've gotten to meet really great people. Like I've met with Josh Keaton, and he's such a fantastic guy and a wonderful personality and great voice actor that I've known his work before, so it was cool to work with somebody I was familiar with. Um, and also just to see everyone everybody else that was involved, and to see how beautiful the animation was. Like I sort of saw the preview of it when I was doing it in the booth, but to see it all fully come together, I was like, okay, I'm part of something pretty big here. And also, what was great is that was my very first animated role that I ever did. I'd never done animation before that. I was represented for it and I was getting auditions for it, but I hadn't gotten anything. So, pretty cool thing to get right out of the gate. Not early, like I didn't get it right away, but to have that be my very first animation role, I think is pretty significant, in my mind at least.
I see. So this is what you like about playing the character Atom. Because
Yes.
all I know is that I've seen the show Voltron, and I
Right.
gotta say, your character is quite unique in a way when it comes to meeting a lot of people, you know? Like
Yeah.
you got to meet Josh Keaton, like you said, and in the entire cast of the entire show. Because
Yeah, it was really cool. I met I met Josh, I met Jeremy Shada. Um
Kimberly,
I didn't meet Kimberly then. I met her kind of peripherally through other things because she's been involved. Like I think because of like Cookie Run and other stuff. I know of her, and then I've seen her like digitally a few times, but um, haven't met her in person yet. Which is so funny that it happened. It's been happening more. With Cookie Run Kingdom, for example. Like I know that there's like a bunch of us in this game, and I only just met some of them in person for the first time at an event that was in Irvine at the Honey and Butter Macaron store. Um, so I didn't meet the full cast of Voltron, but we're all sort of connected in that way. But hopefully I'll get to meet. I mean, this is my first year at San Diego Comic Con that I'm going, just as a fan. So I'm gonna hopefully some of them will be there. I'm planning to go to meet other people and immerse myself because I can't wait to see what it's all about.
I see. But anyway, speaking of the other
Yeah.
characters, like the video game I played recently, the Avengers, how's it
Yes.
like playing Theo in that game?
That was wild. That was wild because that was also something I didn't really know what it was. I mean, I knew what was really fun was I got the email that I had gotten this game, and I didn't know the title. It was a fake title that they gave me in the email. Because sometimes productions will do that, even in movies, to protect the secret of what the game is. But I remember how excited I was walking into the studio, and they said, "All right, we're doing Marvel's Avengers," and we all were so excited. And I was really lucky that I happened to choose my Spider-Man, my Iron Spider shirt. I was just wearing that for no reason. I just like, I'll just put this on. I feel good when I wear Marvel stuff. I'm wearing a Spider-Man shirt right now. Um, but yeah, I walked in and it was so fun. But Theo kind of came out of nowhere because they just handed me a couple sheets of paper with the lines and they said, "All right, you're playing Theo." And I was like, "Who's that? What is he? What?" They'd sort of told me about what he was, I think, but I didn't really have a whole lot of guidelines to go off of. I had no picture, first of all. I had nothing visual to see. I just saw his lines and I think it gave me an age, and I was like, okay, well, I'm just going to go for it. Also, part of the fun of voiceover, the unexpected nature of it. But again, after it came out, I was like, oh man, this guy's everywhere helping you out with certain things. And like the portal stuff was really cool to see. And my friends who play the game, just the fun surprise of uh, how impactful the character was that I wasn't even aware. Like my friends who did some streaming when the game first came out, they apparently really love Theo's catchphrase "You're safe now," which I haven't played the full game, but I guess he says that quite a bit when these things happen and they repeat it. And they had no idea it was me. And when they found out it was me, my friend messaged me. He's like, "You're Theo? That's amazing." I was like, "Yeah, I didn't. That's cool that you guys love the character." So yeah, I mean, honestly, the biggest part of it was just that was my first introduction into Marvel publicly. There were other things that came after that that I worked on, but that was the first time where I could, that was one of the first major Marvel projects that I was in. That came out, and to be part of that is just the bomb. Like I love Marvel comics. I like DC, but Marvel's where my heart's at. So, being part of that, playing a character like that I'd never seen, and finding out what he was about and how he fit into the story was really neat. So those are some of the reasons I like Theo.
I see. So this is what you like about playing Theo. Because
Yeah.
I played the game like recently, and I
Uh-huh.
must say you fit quite well for that character.
Oh, thank
Along
you.
with the, along with the other voice actor I've got to meet, Sean Shiplock, who plays Spider-Man in the game.
Yes. Yes, I know Sean. Yeah, that's great. And I was so excited because he's at my agency, so it was cool to see him get announced to be Spider-Man. Such a great honor.
Yeah, especially when I got to interview him and he
Oh
explained to me
yeah,
what it means to be Spider-Man.
that's so cool, dude. Wow, that's awesome.
That's right. Oh, and speaking of Marvel projects, like you say,
Yes. Uh-huh.
how is it like playing Brick in What If on Disney Plus?
That was also a weird. All of my stories are just weird and unexpected, but I love that. So that was cool because it was also something that kind of came out of what felt like not a big deal event. I have a really good close friend, um, Lindsay Rousseau, who's another fellow voice actor that I love. She's in a bunch of things. She's in a lot of games, and she's Alita in Transformers and all this stuff. But anyway, she and I were talking about stuff, and she emailed me and said, "Hey, there's this Marvel thing that you might want to send your stuff over for." And I was like, okay. Didn't know what she was talking about. It's kind of sounded not that important, but I was like, it's Marvel, so it might be, worth it. So I sent my stuff out, and then a couple of, I don't know how much longer later, I got in contact with a loop group coordinator for What If, but also the team itself to do what's called scratch voiceover, which is the initial voiceover that goes onto the storyboards before the final animation is done. And I got hired for that in 2019, I think. So this is 2 years before the show even came out. And when I was talking to them, they were like, "So you can't say anything. This show doesn't even exist to most people. Like this is the early stages of Disney Plus Marvel stuff." So like this is way long ago when I had to keep my mouth shut for for so long. But what's amazing is I did a bunch of scratch voiceover and I got to play all these characters that I loved and I got to like see how the animation was coming together, see how the stories were forming. And um, as an extremely nice gesture from the studio, they said, "We really loved what you're doing with the scratch voiceover. We'd love to give you this role in the show itself." So going from not knowing what it was to doing scratch voiceover, which is not the final version, to getting an actual role in the show, amazing. And getting to see the animation before anybody else won was awesome. It's just beautiful, the style that they do. Um, and then to be able to say that I'm in the MCU for real, and because I've watched, I've been watching it since Iron Man in 2008. Even before that, the original, Tobey Maguire Spider-Man. That's really where my Marvel love began. But um, playing it was cool because he's this big German Nazi guy that looks nothing like me, but the fact that I get to voice him is just such a cool example of I can be anything. Anybody can be anything in voiceover. And it was so fun. And to get, knocked out by Peggy Carter, Haley Atwell's character, was truly an honor. So really fun. It was just, I still pinch myself from the fact that I'm in it. And they sent me about 2 months ago, maybe a month ago, Marvel sent me a full theatrical size poster of the What If show. So like it's the original series streaming and all that. It was a really cool teaser poster. So the fact that I got to be in it, do this amazing work, meet all these awesome people, be part of this team, and then get this cool poster and get to watch the show. It's all so cool for me. I'm just again gratitude and feeling humble about it. That's all I can really say.
I see. So this is what you like about being in the show What If? Because
Yep.
all I know is that I've seen that show like 1 year ago, actually. And I
Yeah.
gotta say, your performance as Brick is quite awesome, actually. But anyway, how is it like playing Dark Cocoa Cookie in Cookie Run Kingdom?
Oh, yeah, Dark Choco is that has also been the gift that keeps on giving, I feel like, because he is so it's a funny story because the way that it started was actually an on-camera audition. I got the audition and they told me to film myself, not just voiceover, but actually film myself on tape and send it in. And at that point, again, the name wasn't Cookie Run Kingdom. They called it something else. The character name wasn't Dark Choco Cookie, it was something else. So all I got were these very really dark and dramatic scenes, and I didn't really know what it was, but I knew I wanted to give it some gravity to it. And what's interesting is I'm really happy they did it that way, because had I known that it was Cookie Run Kingdom and gotten a sense of the world and gotten a sense of who the character was, I may not have added the realism to the performance that I did because of just getting the raw script and getting the raw moments. But it was a lesson for me because I realized after that audition and after getting it, especially, that there's no reason that no matter what the circumstance or what the parameters are or what the story suggests, always give it the full intent and the full the full impact of what it could be, despite what it's for. You know, it could be this very, fun little 11-minute episode of something, but the realism of the moments has to be there. Otherwise, people that are listening or watching won't care. And I definitely learned that. I was like, oh, I gave my all because I didn't know what this was, but had I known what it was, I may not have done that. But now I know to do that every time. So getting the call was cool. They just sort of said, this is what it is. And what's amazing about this project is how large it was. I didn't realize that the game was so popular already before we got. I mean, I knew it was popular because they were changing it into English dubbing. But I got there and I was like, okay, this is cool, I've never been to a place where I signed the art book for the game and I'm getting interviewed for my character already, and we're doing these fun questions of concept art from the characters that are in it. And then fast forward to the year celebration and us all doing, live stream autographs, which I had never done up to that point. But it all sort of so more and more and more I was seeing how much fun people were having with it and how great these characters are and how much people were attaching to them. But it really all kind of coalesced when like I said, I saw on Instagram there was an event at this place in Irvine called Honey and Butter, which serves macarons, those little really delicious cookie sandwiches. And they said, hey, we're gonna do. The Instagram ad said we're doing a collaboration with Cookie Run Kingdom. We're going to be making cookies based off of the characters in the game. And I looked, I was like, oh, dark chocolate cookie is one of those. I might as well just show up and just go say hi and see what it's about. And I thought I would be there for like maybe 10 or 15 minutes, say hi to the people that are running the store, and then surprise them at the end by saying, hey, I voiced this character right here. So I got there right at 10 when it opened, and I had no idea what I was walking into. I got there, and there were at least a couple hundred people in line. I was like, what? This is all for, I realized it was all for this. I asked a woman up near the front what was going on because there was some merchandise they were selling with the characters as well, and I definitely wanted to have a dark chocolate cookie pin at least. And she said, well, there's all these people in line. It's wristband based. It might run out because we have a limited supply, but you can give your shot. And I said, I don't know if this helps my case at all, but I actually voiced this character. And I pointed to Dark Choco's picture. And she was like, oh my gosh, could you come inside for just a minute? And so I went inside and I met the employees of the store who were all phenomenal. I met some of the developer people from the game, Dev Sisters. They were costumed characters. There were other voice actors that I'd never met before. Like I met Patrick Seitz for the first time, who played my father in the game. I met Zeno Robinson for the first time, who I'd never met before, but I was familiar with him. And another one of my friends, Caitlin, showed up. Caitlin Elizabeth, who plays masala sauce cookie. And so that was awesome just to see like, oh, this community that I've never met, but we're all part of this thing. And then the best part was I spent like 2 hours signing autographs and talking to fans. That was not part of my day. That was not what I had planned for, but it was incredible because I had people telling me what the characters meant to them, what my work meant to them, what the game meant to them. And so Cookie Run Kingdom has proven to be one of my favorite projects just because of the fact that it's impacted so many people in so many different ways. And I had no idea until I went to that event and slowly over time started to see, oh, our work does have an impact. It does mean something. So, yeah, I think that kind of encapsulates all of how I feel about Dark Choco Cookie. And also he's fun because he's, this very, um, emo is the wrong word, but it's bordering on that. It's just, he's very, dark and dramatic and really he's tortured. He's a very tortured character because he has this conflict of he wants to be he thinks he's supposed to be evil, he's supposed to be bad, but inside he knows that he's good, but he's wrestling with that. And that's something that I think is just a human thing. And so I was like, oh, I know how to do that. I know how to play that. And so that's been fun to kind of play with that emotion and play with that character and see where he goes. And who knows, there might be more. I don't know. I love seeing the story develop just as much as anybody else. That was a very long answer, but that's why I love Dark Chocolate Cookie and Cookie Run Kingdom. It's been such a fun ride so far.
I see. So this is what you like about playing Dark Choco Cookie. Because all I know is that I've known about the game about Cookie Run Kingdom, and I've got to say, you were very excellent playing that character, of course.
Thank you.
along with Patrick Stantz and,
Yeah.
and Zeno Robinson, Keith Silverstein, Jenny
Yes.
Torito, Yuri Lowenthal, and so many great voice actors.
Oh
Even,
yeah.
even Kimberly was there too.
Kimberly was there. Yes. Yeah. I saw her at the 1 year celebration digital event that we had. That was fun.
Yeah, because all I know is that I've been wanting to interview those guys like I
Mm.
did with many others for months.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
But anyway, I saw you in the recent movie called, if I'm not mistaken, I believe it's called Tom and Jerry, the cowboy movie, correct?
Yes. Tom and
How's
Jerry
it
Cowboy.
like playing Zeb in that movie?
That was fun. I have loved that sort of that southern twang kind of thing. Really fun. I really love that kind of voice. And it was my, it was my first stab at doing animation for Warner Brothers. And I mean, talk about legendary studio, especially with animation. I mean, there's, all the greats, but it's so cool to have done something with them for a Tom and Jerry project. Like Tom and Jerry are legendary. And so getting to play that, it was a super fast session too. It was like 15 minutes long. And I did it from my home studio, which was pretty fun. Um, and loved doing the voices, loved playing the character, loved the jokes they wrote. It was a very well written script, really fun movie, and it's I'd had it one other time with Geostorm when I did voice matching in that movie, but this is another instance where I got to get a physical version of the movie. I bought it on DVD and I have it, and it's so cool to be like, I have this cartoon movie and I'm in it. It's so cool. So Zeb was a fun little character that I loved seeing the rest of it all come together because there's some really amazing voice actors in that movie. And so I loved getting to not work directly with them, but work alongside them. Yeah, so that's it. But Zeb was great. Zeb was super fun.
I see. So this is what you like about playing that character. From what I can tell, you you and the other voice actors did excellent playing in that movie,
Thanks.
along with Corey Walgren and the others. You know.
Yes, yes, yes.
Well, anyway, it is such an honor to finally talk to you, my friend, and hopefully you have a wonderful, awesome day.
Oh, thank you. You too. No, this has been
Oh,
great.
yeah. Thank you, my friend, and I hope you have a wonderful day, my friend, and I'll see you around, my
Oh,
friend.
okay. I'll see you soon. Thanks so much.
All right.
All right.
Bye.
Bye.